Hi, this is Amalia Dobbins. I am the owner and teacher at Stars and Moon Voice Studio in Colorado Springs. And I wanted to create this class to help high school students understand the process of auditioning for college musical theater programs. So this is our first class, and we will focus on making your college list. The first thing to do is decide what kind of degree you want. You have four options. You can do a Bachelor of Arts or a BA, a Bachelor of Fine Arts or a BFA, a Bachelor of Music or a BM, or an Associate of the Arts degree or an AA. All of these are fine options. None is better than the other, possibly with the exception of the associate's degree, because if you choose to do a 2-year associate's program, you wouldn't earn an undergraduate bachelor's degree, you would only have an associate's certificate by the end. So a Bachelor of Arts degree is the most common. You will do about 30 to 40% of your coursework in your major of musical theater in this case. And the remainder of your education will be in general ed type classes. So this is a great degree if you want to double major or do a substantial minor or study abroad. This is more for people who have a wide variety of interests beyond, the acting, singing, and dancing of a musical theater degree. So if you are more of an academic type, then a BA in musical theater or theater arts might be a great option for you. If you decide to pursue a BFA or a Bachelor of Fine Arts, you will do about 60 to 80% of your coursework in your musical theater major, with the remainder in general education or electives. And with a BFA major, it is very difficult to double major unless you want to be in school for more than 4 years. With the price of the undergraduate degrees these days, it's probably difficult for most families to do more than 4 years. The BFA program is very intense. You would probably not be able to study abroad during the school year, at least. You might be able to during the summer. But yeah, you won't have enough time during the school year. You might also want to reserve the summertime for doing more professional development programs or summer stock. But that is the BFA. Now, if you earn the BFA from a conservatory, it's even more intense because you'll be doing about 80 to 95% of your courses in your major, so there'll be musical theater classes, and there will be very little curriculum outside of your major. Most of the student body at a conservatory is going to be made up of students who are also getting performing arts degrees, maybe not in musical theater, but in some area of music or dance or technical studies. So keep in mind that that is who your friends will be. A good example of a conservatory-style BFA would be the Boston Conservatory program, which is within the Berklee School of Music. A Bachelor of Music in musical theater is usually part of the music department and not the theater department. Most often, it is actually part of a school of music within either a conservatory or a larger university. And then the musicals you would be performing are most likely of the classic type, classic musicals or operettas. For example, Gilbert and Sullivan, Rodgers and Hammerstein, also Jerome Kern. These types of musicals that were written before the 1960s, where they really started doing more sort of dancing and acting along with the singing. There are very few of these degrees offered, but they are at some of the most reputable schools. As far as the associate's training programs, There are a handful of schools that do offer an associate's degree either over 18 months or 2 years. And as I said before, you would graduate with an associate's degree, not a bachelor's degree. Some examples are the Neighborhood Playhouse or Circle in the Square in New York City. There's also Katie Studio in Dallas. But again, yeah, you would just graduate with that AA certificate. So it's good to think about where you would want to be for your undergraduate 4 years. Most of you watching this are from Colorado, so maybe you would want to experience living in another part of the country for a while, like the West Coast or the East Coast. Those are always great options. There are several excellent schools in the Midwest and South as well, so don't discount those. So take a look at this map and go ahead and write down which part of the country you would like to be in order of preference. As you can see, the West includes Colorado, California, Arizona, all the way up to Montana. The Midwest includes Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, Illinois, and in the Northeast, we're looking at New York City, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, in the South, Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, all the way over to Texas. All of these have wonderful school options. If you're going for a highly competitive program, the location of the school is going to matter less than a less competitive school. For example, if you get into New York City University or the University of Michigan, you're not going to complain about the weather in Michigan because that's a very highly competitive program where you would probably just go anywhere in the country where that was located. As you get less competitive, you want to think more about location because you'll just have more options in those less competitive categories. Okay, proximity to home. Families have different value systems when it comes to how close you are when going to college. Some families feel that this is your entrance into adulthood, and so going farther away and not relying on them is a good thing. Some families want to maintain, the integrity of the family as long as possible, so being close to home is extremely important. That all depends on your family. Remember that you have to factor in plane tickets if you want to come home every Christmas, Thanksgiving, summer, Easter, whatever. Just keep that in mind, or plan on making some good friends who you can go stay with. Those plane tickets can add up, so keep all of those factors in mind when choosing your school. Okay, so next, think about your skill set. In these days in musical theater, you need to be a triple or a quadruple threat. If you've never heard that term before, that means that as a musical theater performer, your skills need to include acting, dancing, singing, and possibly playing an instrument. If you saw the Tony Awards this year, you'll remember the band's visit. Most of those performers were playing an instrument on stage as well. Think about where you are in each of these categories and rank your skills in order from strongest to weakest. A great option sometimes for going to the school of your dreams is to apply to a major outside of the musical theater department. Once you're in the school, you can often re-audition and transfer into the musical theater department. Not to say that's not difficult, but it's possible. It's been done. So for example, if you're an excellent dancer, you could apply to the dance program and then either just audition for the musicals or consider re-auditioning the following year to transfer into the musical theater department. The same goes for other skill sets. If you get into the voice program and still have the option of auditioning for the musicals, that might allow you to go to your dream school. A lot of the performers I come across who are excellent in musical theater are also very well-rounded and strong in academics as well. This is a serious consideration. Do you feel like your life or your education will be well-rounded if you do not study other academics while you are in undergraduate school? Another huge thing to consider might be if you want a backup degree or if you want a double major. This is probably one of the most uncertain careers in the world. So you never know, you might get burnout down the line and want to go into another field. It's just something to consider. So this is a picture of my alma mater, Bucknell University. It's in central Pennsylvania. Bucknell is an example of a medium-sized liberal arts school with a strong academics, a big endowment, and a very strong music program as well. So this is where I was able to earn a Bachelor of Music, and I also studied other areas like business, Italian, and literature. Think about what type of school you want. Would you like to go to football games with your sorority sisters on the weekends? Do big class sizes intimidate you? Do you want to get to know your professors personally? Would you prefer to be at a school where all of your friends are also studying music, dance, or some other performing arts modality? All things to consider. Okay, the big elephant in the room, tuition. Tuition is a huge consideration. At most schools in the United States, you will be paying between $30,000 and $60,000 per year for your undergraduate education. You need to have a number in mind for how much your family can comfortably afford to spend on your undergraduate college education, assuming that you graduate in 4 years. This is a big one, keeping in mind that the Actors Equity Association, the union for musical theater actors, has an 88 to 90% unemployment rate. So, are you comfortable with taking out student loans? What that means is that you will be unemployed on average 88 to 90% of the time, and you need to have another job. It needs to be a job with a lot of flexibility so that you can continue going to auditions and be at the performances when you get hired. Those types of jobs are typically working in a restaurant, working as a temporary office employee, working on your own schedule, maybe as a massage therapist or the like, doing some sort of physical labor-oriented job where you don't need an expansive skill set and you're a little bit dispensable so that you have that flexible schedule and you can pretty much work on demand. The average student loan payment is $351 per month, so you need to pay that on top of your living expenses. And just so you know, student loans are not bankruptable. I'm certainly not trying to talk you out of this career. I just want you to know what you're in for. Being a performing artist is very fulfilling and can create a very satisfying life for a lot of people. And most people create hybrid models where they're performing part of the time, but also have satisfying careers, maybe as a teacher, mother, headhunter. I've actually seen it all. So if you are convinced that this is the right path for you, here are some great places to find more information on specific college programs. The National Association of Schools of Theater has a database where you can search schools by location. I've listed the website below, and I've also included it in the printed notes. College Confidential is another database where you can search by a number of different factors, and they also have a forum where you can ask questions. This next one, Performing Arts Guide by Peterson's, it's a little bit old. It came out in 2009, but it's still the most comprehensive college guide for performing arts majors. And I've included the Amazon link as well. If you are really serious about getting into the college of your dreams, you have some time, some extra money, you're willing to do a lot of hard work, you might consider hiring a personal college consultant. These consultants have years of experience getting kids into top schools, and they can help you choose your music, your monologue, and coach you through the entire audition process. They will also read your essays, help you match your SAT and ACT scores to the right schools. Basically, they will hold your hand every step of the way. So here are some names of people you might consider. If I can convince you to do one thing from this presentation, please attend the Performing and Visual Arts College Fair in Denver. It's on October 15th. and that is a Monday night. So get your parents to drive you, go with a group of friends. One word of warning is you really should have your college list narrowed down or you're just going to be totally overwhelmed. There's a lot of schools there. Okay, in conclusion, you need to make your SMART list, which should include 12 to 20 schools. And that's broken up into 3 to 6 REACH schools, which are schools that have a low acceptance rate, less than 10%, and that you dream of attending. Most people would dream of attending them. Your next category is 7 to 10 FIT schools. So all things considered, you've got a pretty good chance of getting in. And lastly, you want to have 2 to 5 safety schools. These are typically BA programs, not BFA programs, and they do not require an audition for the musical theater program. You meet all of the requirements academically, grades, test scores, etc. Very important. Remember, you need to consider grades, test scores, and the interview. Essay, they're all very important. Even if Yale Drama wants you, you still have to get into Yale, an Ivy League school. So please don't forget about the academic component of your college audition and application. 12 to 20 might seem like a lot of schools. Probably most of your friends are applying to 10 schools or less. But keep in mind what the most competitive audition category is. And yes, the answer is the Caucasian female. So please plan accordingly. If you are in the most competitive audition category, you need to apply to more schools. That's the rule of thumb. Here are a few good things to know in regards to tuition. Colorado and New Mexico have in-state tuition reciprocity at some schools, and another place to check out is the Western Undergraduate Exchange, or WUI, where Colorado students can qualify for discounted tuition in the Western states, which include Alaska, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, North Dakota, Oregon, South Dakota, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming. Okay, now for the fun stuff. According to Playbill, here are the 10 most represented colleges on Broadway in the 2018-2019 season. Number 1, New York University, or NYU. This is in New York City, New York. Number 2, the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Number 3, the University of Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music, also known as CCM. This is in Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 4, AMDA, with locations in New York and Los Angeles. This is an example of a school that focuses solely on the performing arts. Number 5, Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Number 6, the Boston Conservatory. This is housed within the Berklee School of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. Number 7, Yale University. This is a New England school in New Haven, Connecticut. It's an Ivy League school with one of the best drama departments in the country. Number 8, Oklahoma City University in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Number 9, Point Park University, also in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And number 10, the University of North Carolina School of the Arts in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Most of these schools are in the REACH category, and here are some other excellent programs. Baldwin Wallace is in Berea, Ohio. Juilliard is in New York City, along with Fordham. They're both in the Lincoln Center area. Florida State University in Tallahassee. Northwestern is in Evanston, Illinois, just north of Chicago. Elon is in North Carolina. Pace is also in New York City. Penn State is in State College, Pennsylvania. and Syracuse is in upstate New York. Ithaca College, also in upstate New York. The University of the Arts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Hart School at the University of Hartford, Hartford, Connecticut. And the University of Miami in Florida. Coral Gables, Florida, to be exact. Here are a few books that I have found helpful in preparing this class, and my students have also found helpful. This first one is I Got In by Mary Anna Dennard. It's kind of a Bible. She gives a lot of detailed advice on compiling your college list, interview components, where to audition, how to choose a monologue, preparing your headshot and resume, wardrobe, and the mental aspect of auditioning, as well as acceptances and rejections. Before the College Audition by Chelsea Deal. This offers more detailed information on individual college programs, including interviews with faculty and directors of those programs. If you need more detailed help making your college list, this is your go-to book. Mastering College Musical Theater Auditions. It's a very helpful, comprehensive guide and includes some suggested song choices, so you're not singing something for the audition that's really overdone. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Feel free to share this class with friends and family that you might think this information is helpful for. I'd like to offer each one of you a free 20-minute consultation with me if you'd like to delve a little bit deeper into preparing your college list and auditioning. You can call me at 719-375-4729, email me at coloradomezzo@gmail.com, or check out my website, also www.coloradomezzo.com. Thank you, and best of luck in your preparation in the coming weeks.